This is the inside of the Adria Adora Tiber. If I firstly move to the main control panel, I can turn the 12 volt on just by pressing the button here. Once I've done this, you'll see that we now have this little icon here. This is just indicating that we're currently connected to mains electricity. If I now rotate to the left, we will get a voltage reading of the leisure battery. At the moment it's showing completely fully charged right up the top here because we're connected to main supply and it's under charge. If I now rotate in the opposite direction, you'll see we have a flashing water droplet just here. This is indicating that if this had a fresh water tank, it is empty. On this particular model it does not have one, so it can be ignored. But we need to come to this part here to be able to turn the water pump on. Literally press the button and you'll see a little picture of a tap appears just up here, and that is now indicating that the water pump has been switched on. So now if I go over to a tap, you'll see we have water coming out, and it is a very good water pressure in this particular caravan. If I now move across to the Aldi control panel for the heating and the hot water, on initial startup it will let you know if main supply is connected. It will give you an internal temperature of the caravan and an external temperature of the caravan. If I now press the menu button, we will get the basic functions just here. So at the top here we have the thermostat for the heating, literally plus or minus to pick whatever temperature you would like it inside the caravan, and it will drop down to 5 degrees for frost protection and go right the way up to 30 degrees. After the thermostat for the heating, we then have beneath it a little picture of a shower head, and this is for hot water. So currently hot water is off. If I now press the plus, hot water on, and if I press it again, we then have hot water in boost mode. The boost mode was mainly designed for if there's going to be more than one of you having showers in quick succession of each other, or if you just want hot water very quickly. If you do perform this and the heating is running, the heating will turn off as it needs to use that extra power. So at the moment, even though I've turned the heating on and I've turned the hot water on, the system hasn't actually fired up yet because we need to give it a power source. So you'll see we have a lightning strike here indicating main supply. So if we wanted to run it on mains, just press the plus button and we can run it on a low 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt or 3 kilowatts. So this is all just dependent on the ampage of the site you're on to try and avoid tripping. If there is no main supply, you can highlight the little picture of the flame and run the system on gas. And if you have both power sources available to you, what you can also do is run in dual fuel, which is very handy, especially in the winter months if you want to get up to temperature really quickly. If I now just go back to the startup menu, you'll now see that we have a little circle up in the corner here. This is just indicating that the circulation pump for the heating is currently on. If I now press the little picture of the cogs, we will then go into the settings menu. So you'll see that we firstly have a little picture of a moon, and if I now press that, this is night mode. Turn night mode on and off just here, and then set the temperature you would like it to be for that period, just plus and minus here. Set the time when you would like night mode to begin, and whether it's for all days of the week or just individual, and then when you would like night mode to end. We can invert the backlight just here, so the screen goes to black, the writing goes to white, and we can also tell it that we don't want any hot water produced throughout that period. This is very handy, especially if you're wild camping. That way you are not wasting gas heating hot water whilst you're asleep. Next we have a little picture of a sun, and that's virtually exactly the same again, but just for the daytime. Prioritises what the system prioritises in using when in that dual fuel mode, so it currently favours main supply over gas. If you were on a very low amp site, you could flip it on its head, so it favours more gas over electric. Next we just have brightness of the screen. We can invert it all the time if we wanted to. Just leave the room temperature sensor in auto. And then here we just have set the correct time and day of the week. If I now arrow down, the majority of these can only be accessed via the workshop. This one is called antimicrobial, and it can only be used if you are using night mode as well. What will happen is, in the middle of the night, the boiler will come on and rapidly heat itself up to kill off any bacteria that may be in the system. Next we just have temperature offset for both the internal and external thermostats. If you don't think they're quite correct, you can just slightly adjust them. High altitude mode just here, so if you are using the caravan 1,000 or more meters above sea level, just activate this to make it run more efficiently. Key beeps on and off just here. One delayed start and stop to the system, so you could have it so the system fires up at Monday at 9 o'clock in the morning and then turns itself back off again on Saturday at 12 in the afternoon. Pump settings for the heating, just literally leave it set in thermal mode. Full factory reset, so if there is a problem with the system, you can just reset it. External start, you do have to have an additional SIM box added if you want to control this via an app. Change the language. Service, again for more for workshop, but you can go into this and see what everything is up to. Installed accessories. This one here, which is called load monitor, can be very handy. If I now tick that, you'll now see we can activate it. So if you know how many amps the site is that you're on, you can pop it into here. So let's say we're on a 10 amp site. It then doesn't matter that we crank it up to 3 kilowatts here, it will just limit itself. Anything that's an activated function will appear as an A here. So you've got the room temperature sensor just there, and then you also then have the load monitor. If I now turn it back off again, and then if I now turn back off hot water and then turn this all back off again, if I now come down to the bench seat just here and remove the cushions, and I now lift up, you will see that we have the Aldi boiler just here. To drain the Aldi boiler down for either travel or winterization, firstly make sure that the water pump has been turned off. And then come to the yellow lever and lift it up, and it will then begin to drain the water out of the boiler. This is all you really need to do if you are just draining the boiler for travel. If you are fully draining it down for winter, I also suggest that you flap open this grey lever here, and then you will also find some more grey levers right at the back of the caravan, just tucked in the corner just there. What they're helping in doing is releasing the airlocks from the pipework. It's also advisable that you then also open up all of the taps as well. When it comes to refilling the boiler, make sure all the taps are closed. Make sure all of the grey levers are back down, and that all important yellow lever just there. Fill up the aqua roll, drop in the submersible, turn on the 12-volt system, and then turn on the water pump, and it will then begin to refill the boiler. Let it run for a few minutes and then begin opening the taps up. They'll cough and splutter as they force the air out of the system. Once the water is running freely on both hot and cold, reclose, and then the system will fully reprime itself. If you find that once the system has primed itself up that the pump is still overrunning, it can be slightly adjusted just on the pressure switch here, but only do very, very fine movements. You will also find in here that we have the gas isolation tap for the boiler. It is in the on position, and quite frankly it can stay like that. I always say if you do smell gas in the caravan, just go to the source and turn off the gas bottle. We then have the control board for the motor mover just here. If you find that for any reason that the controller itself is not connecting up to the box, there is a reset button just here. Just use the aerial, just poke it in the hole, and then the light will come on, and then literally hold down both green buttons on the handset, and then it will reconnect up to it. Tuck this side here is the battery charger and the 12-volt fuses. So if anything is not working on 12 volt, just check to see if a fuse has blown. Underneath the other bench seat, it is literally storage, and then there is more storage underneath this seat as well. In the overhead locker just here is the microwave. This will work when the caravan is connected to main supply. We have quick start and stop just here, power settings, eco setting, etc. Just literally turn for your presets as well. Beside that is where the microwave is plugged in. And then beneath it we have the 3 gas rings, and it's just push down, twist and press the igniter. And then beneath that is the grill and oven. So for the grill, come to this side here, push in, twist, and then push the igniter just there. And then for the oven, this side, storage beside the oven and grill just here, and then we have the cutlery drawer, and then flap down at the bottom. Underneath here you will find some more gas isolation taps just here for the hob and the cooker. Tucked up just underneath here you will find the media center, so it just turns on just here.
Bluetooth mode.
Once it's turned on, all you need to do is just go into your device's Bluetooth settings. This will come up as Adria, and then all you need to do is just connect up to it, and then you can stream music through it, either from saved music on your device or literally stream it live from online radio stations. You will also see that it does have an auxiliary plug-in point just there and a USB plug-in point just here as well. Main socket just here, and you will find another one on this side, and then the light switch. TV bracket just here, so we have aerial plug-in point, another main socket and two USB charge points. To move about, just pull up just here. We then have the Thetford fridge freezer on and off just here. This is an automatic model, so as long as it is on A for auto, it will find the best power source it can for you. So because we're currently hooked up to main supply, it's put us onto mains with a little picture of the 2-pin plug. If I was now to go outside and pull the mains lead out, it would then automatically attempt to fire itself up onto gas. And as soon as we hitch up to a tow vehicle, it will then automatically go over to 12-volt maintain to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. You'll see that the display disappears after a few seconds, but you can see that it's still on by the little blue light just here. If I now just tap here, you'll see that it will re-illuminate to let you know what it's up to. We can take it out of auto just by holding the button in. It'll begin to flash, and then use your arrow keys. So I could manually put it onto mains, manually put it onto 12-volt maintain, or manually put it onto gas. But auto is the easiest one to have it on. If there is a problem with the unit in any way, it will flash at you and you will get a red light instead of a blue light. The reason it's doing this at the moment is because I've now switched it over to 12-volt maintain and we're not hitched up to a tow vehicle. If we now put it back onto auto, once I've selected this, it will then move across to the temperature control, and again just use your arrows and then select. Directly underneath it, you'll see that we have the gas isolation tap for the fridge. You can also see one of the speakers just there. And then beside it is the freestanding table. Shower cubicle just here. Do make sure that the shower screen is closed for travel and that this part here is just clipped over. We then have the washroom. You'll see that the door can close to that point just there. So we have the basin, and then we have the toilet. So the bowl does swivel all around. To open to the cassette, just slide the grey lever across, and then blue button to flush, and then close back up again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you do feel resistance, just make sure that nobody has left it open. It will let you know when the cassette needs emptying just here on the level indicator. And we have storage beneath the basin and storage above. As we move into the rear bedroom, again we have another TV bracket just here, aerial plug-in point, and then another main socket just here. If I now come over to this side, we have the television aerial just in here. So to use the TV aerial, make sure that the digital amplifier is turned on. It turns on and off just on the top here, and you control the boost just here. You'll see that there is a signal finder just here, so if I turn the boost down, you'll see it goes to red, which means it's very poor. Green means it's a good signal. To make the signal better, just undo the collar here and just undo this part, and then you can push the TV aerial up higher. This green window represents the back of the TV aerial, so you know which way it's pointing. H is for horizontal. You can turn the towel and flip it to the vertical position for additional tuning if required. Always make sure that the aerial is down for travel and that the red dot is facing you, and then just re-secure it. Also in here, tucked at the back, is the header tank for the Aldi heating system. Just make sure that the fluid level is between the minimum and the maximum. Always take your reading once it has got up to temperature, as it will expand in the tank. This can be topped up by yourself if required. Just remove the collar just here, and then just unscrew and just remove this little circulation pump just here out, and then add the top-up solution. Do make sure that you're using the correct top-up solution. On this particular model, it uses the pink. Tucked down at the very bottom, you will find the trip switches just here. So if anything is not working on main supply, just check to see if you've tripped. Plenty of storage beneath the island bed. And you have the divider just here. But again, do make sure that it is clipped back for travel. The front double bed is nice and easy to make. It's just a matter of pulling both sections out so they meet in the middle, and then just popping the cushions into position. just like so. As you can see, I've used the back rest cushions, and then you'll see that there's also this extra infill just here.